originally I had 5 scenes in a row, 4 with Nicholas and 1 with Shirley. And because the new place in the story that they had my character, my sequences, Nicholas supposedly at that point has been fired and isn't around. So I instantly lost every scene with Nicholas, including a scene with Shirley where Nicholas is in the background. Because theoretically he's not around at that point. And I've never really been cut in a picture like that before. Obviously it wasn't anything that I did or didn't do, they just decided they wanted to change the story, which is their right. Regrettably, it completely destroyed the arc that I was building for the character. The scene as it plays is a very good scene. I'm very proud of it. I was honored to work with Shirley and very pleased to work with Nick. But they completely destroyed what I did. And they knew it. When they called me, the director's assistant called me to tell me. I mean, talk about chicken. Anyway, so this is just another, 2 examples of situations that occur that I have no control over. So if you ever see me in anything that I'm not brilliant in, it's not my fault. There's something else. Okay, continuing our update. Like I said, I just finished this film, Space Marines. I don't know what they're going to call it when it comes out. Space Marines is about as bad a title as anybody can come up with, so if they do change it, it'll probably be an improvement. It's a wonderful adventure film for 14-year-old boys. It's sort of what it boils down to. Billy Wirth is a very hot young actor, a wonderful kid. And as always, whatever the film was, I loved the experience because for me, the real value, I don't remember what the box office receipts are, what the reviews are, or anything like that. What I remember is the friendships I made. And the relationships that I established during the course of the production that live on through the years. That's real for me. That's of value for me. And in this case, I don't know, it seems like I ended up being Papa to the cast because it was a very difficult situation. And, I got no bones about speaking up and saying, no, listen, it may be nobody's fault, but it's your damn responsibility to the producer. I'm not vulnerable. These guys can't really mess with me in any way. I go home to this boy. And so my character's name was Commander Gray, and my room was always open, and after work all the kids would come by and hang out and play. I was taught some of them guitar, Billy and Katie, and Sherman Augustus, a wonderful African-American actor, and now a dear friend. I taught him stick fighting, and how many people, just out of curiosity, saw Hawkeye? Good, I'm glad, because it was in Los Angeles, it was on Channel 13 at 10 o'clock on Saturday night. TV Guide billed me as Edward Arnold. That pig is going to stay with me the rest of my life. But I loved the character. For me to be able to dress like an Indian, speak with a French accent, and fight with a stick is my paradise. Let me at it. I can do this one. I truly love this character to the degree that I'm going to try to create a kind of a lending library type thing. Obviously, I don't know what in terms of the legality but I want all of you to have the opportunity to see this because this is a performance, although it was a little TV show. It wasn't a big film with Shirley MacLaine. It was a little TV show, but I loved the character. And I think that you will see that in the performance. So I want to make sure I have a bunch of copies made of it, and sometime this weekend I'm going to figure out some way of, renting them or lending them or giving them, whatever I can do that's okay. So that anybody who wants to see it gets a chance to see it, because this guy was great, man. I love this guy. Regrettably, they kill him. But they canceled the series, so he ain't going to show up again in this show. Let me put it that way. But I guarantee you he will show up in some variation sometime in the future. Speaking of future, I'm in the midst of negotiation right now, and I'm a believer in not, I don't know how to explain it more than sort of diluting the energy or the consciousness of the project before it's actually done. Because so many times in this business, there are things that seem very vital and very real, and for whatever reasons, nobody's fault or anything, they don't happen. And then I got to see you guys, in 6 months in Waco or Vegas or something, and they say, oh, how did that go? And it's like, well, it didn't exactly happen. So I don't want to go into it too much, but it's a wonderful, wonderful film. I will say that it is Chuck Norris, but it's not a martial arts film in any sense of the word. It's an ecologically based story. That's a wonderful, wonderful story about these kids protecting an old-growth forest that's on a mountain. I've been talking to Aaron Norris, Chuck's brother. Aaron used to double me, actually. I'll try. Well, I will give you more solid information on it instantly through the newsletter. We may even have a special edition. Flash. Extra. But that, if indeed it does happen, and all indications show that it will, I'm going to start up in Oregon, in Mount Hood, later this month. I'm going to do my damnedest to get my dad in, too, because he's such a sweetie pie. And really, he is, in a sense, the grandfather of the ecological movement. He was there at the dinner when they invented the word ecology. He has traveled the country for 40-plus years, speaking to optimist groups, to schools, to tea clubs, to book reviews, to any place he could until, he has worked a miracle along with thousands of other people from, in one generation, going from a concept that nobody had really even thought of unless you were living with nature, to something that you can say ecology to a 5-year-old, and they have a sense of what you're talking about. Now, this is extraordinary. And a lot of the work that he and I have done in the course of our lives have been promoting the concept of an understanding of the laws of nature, of living in a sense with nature. Because we were just talking over the table, I said nature's laws don't change no matter who gets elected. It's something you can have faith in, something that you know that is true, will stay true. And in bringing up my own daughter, Ty, I always tried to surround her with nature and make nature a part of every day for her, because nature is a far better teacher than I'll ever be. And as a parent, I think the wisest choice I could have made was to try to let nature be her teacher. And I'm very proud of her and the effect that it's had. Talking about my dad, we did a pilot this year together called California for Beth Sullivan, Dr. Quinn fame. Beth Beth and Jim have stayed very close friends. They're wonderful people, and she's just the best producer I've ever worked for. So when she called me up and she said, listen, I've got a pilot and I've written a part for you, I was absolutely thrilled. And they spun off William Shockley from Dr. Quinn, added James Brolin, and my dad and I as the bad guys were the bankers in town, the McKays. He's Ben McKay and I'm Ryan McKay, or as I refer to him, Lion. The show was not picked up for the fall schedule, but neither was Dr. Quinn. It was a mid-season replacement, and I'm not saying Quinn was canceled. I'm saying originally it was not picked up on the first go-round. So we're not discouraged at all. Beth is like a tigress, a mama tigress, and she is waiting to pounce on mid-season, and it looks like there'll be plenty of room to play. Because, as usual, the fall season looks a little ratty on CBS. But she's also got interest from Fox and Paramount, and in a sense, Fox might even be the best way to go, because although they pay less money, they guarantee you 22, 23 shows right off the bat, which means you have a tremendous opportunity to develop the characters, develop the story. Anyway, I know that some of you have already written some great letters, and I'm hoping that we can, at the right time, write some more. Because the opportunity at this point to do a series would, and I'm speaking very selfishly, give me a foundation to do a lot of the other good work that I'm trying to do that you couldn't buy with money. All of a sudden, I can get on any TV show. I can pretty much get on any show now, but I've got to have a hook. What do you want to talk about? Well, I want to talk about this. And if that's interesting to them, then they put you on. Whereas when you've got an on-the-air series, it's like, they're begging to get you on. And in terms of the work that I'm doing with cultural resources, with land conservation, inner city, with obviously all the ecology stuff with my dad, all of a sudden you have a platform that you can function from that reaches literally millions and millions No,